Hello Sam, welcome back.
Oh,
As you know, we've been doing some basic health screening tests, and the first one is a BMI test, which you scored a result of 29, which is considered overweight compared to the national averages for your height, weight and gender. The benefits if you were to be as a healthy weight would be that you are not at danger from becoming obese and getting things like diabetes, but you're also not at risk of becoming underweight and malnourished, so you're not more prone to getting injuries and things like that as your bones aren't weaker. However, you are considered to be overweight, which is obviously an issue because then you are more at risk of getting things like diabetes and obviously becoming increasingly furthermore overweight. The ways we could combat this is just try and up your hours of activity from maybe 2 hours maybe to 3.5, and try and get you to have a more balanced diet, so it's incorporating more things like fats, carbs, maybe lowering the fats, adding a few more carbs, get a bit more protein in there. The government guidelines for recommended exercise a week is 150 minutes, so just over 2 hours. We'll try and get you up past that maybe, so it can try and reduce the weight, and obviously just get the BMI score down a bit.
yeah, I get that fully.
And then especially with the diet, intake of things like your protein should be about 50 grams a day, so we'll try and get that back down there. Your fats, will obviously try and bring that down, things like that, and your saturated fats, sugars, carbohydrates, things like that. Your next test was the waist to hip ratio, which your score was 0.99, which compared to the national average is an average score. The benefits of this is you reduce your chance of obesity, which then consequently reduces the possibilities of getting things like diabetes, which is obviously better for your general health. However, if you was to lose too much weight, you could become underweight, and again, the same with the BMI, become malnourished and be a bit more prone to injury with bone weakness. One issue with your score could be if the hip to weight ratio is too high, like I've already mentioned, you could become obese. Obviously, we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So the ways we can do that is by trying to get you a more balanced diet, and get you to do a few more hours of activity, very similar to the BMI score. The government guidelines for the waist to hip ratio are shown here, if you just have a look. For a male, obviously, you're in the average, which is good. We'll try and obviously bring you back down to the good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure that you're within the score.
Yeah. Just in the average.
Yeah. The next one we did was the peaks flow. Now, the result for your peaks flow was 300, which is considered to be below average compared to national averages, or bordering on the poor. Obviously, if you were to have a better peaks flow, the benefits of having a good score is that you have a higher lung capacity, meaning you'll be able to perform well in sports that require cardiovascular fitness. And for a lot longer, so for example, if you was to play football, that'll last full 90 minutes. Obviously, your sport is cricket, so when you're running between the wickets,
stumps
and wickets, that'll hopefully improve. As your score is below the average, it shows some work does need to be done in the CV area. So we'll get you on things like the bike and the treadmill to try and increase your CV fitness, trying to improve that. So eventually when we go and retest, your score will become higher. Like I said, the strategy for this is just to get you more involved with some cardiovascular fitness, a bit more training, so maybe getting you on a rower, bike, treadmill, trying to improve that, and obviously keeping up your activity levels throughout the week. The government guidelines for this test are shown here, and you should be in around about 550 for your height, weight and what have you. Obviously again, when we retest, we'll try and get you up to the national averages. The next one was the resting heart rate, which you currently have a resting heart rate of 62 beats per minute, which is, compared to national averages, is considered a good score. A great score, actually, now looking at the table, it's considered a great score.
Fantastic.
The benefits of this shows you have a fairly good level of aerobic fitness, and is obviously within the recommended score. The good thing about having a good resting heart rate is to be able to cope aerobically for longer and more efficiently in your specific sport, which is obviously again cricket. The issues we could have of it raising would mean a drop off in your aerobic fitness, which could lead to becoming fatigued earlier on in the game. Again, obviously would not be ideal, so you might have to ease off a bit. The way, again, we could combat this, maybe improve it or just maintain it, is again by keeping your hours of activity levels up, and maybe trying to incorporate a little bit of CV training within that. So again, things like being on the bike and the treadmill will hopefully bring that down to more of an excellent level. You know, get to obviously try and get to an athlete, but that might be a bit unrealistic for the start. So we'll just try and bring it down a smidge.
Especially with my BMI.
Yes. The final one, the blood pressure. You scored 112 for your systolic pressure and 54 for your diastolic pressure.
Yeah.
Which is considered, you know, just a normal and good score compared to the national averages. The benefits of this, there is less strain on the vessels and arteries around the heart, which is obviously a benefit during exercise, and there's not much pressure on your heart to pump as much blood around the body. You know, you're able to perform aerobically for longer, which is obviously again a benefit for your specific sport. And the issues, if it was to go any higher into the elevated or the high blood pressure stages, would be there would be more pressure on the arteries and vessels, which would then put more strain on the heart, making you maybe unable to play sport as you're more at risk things, heart risks and things like that. Again, the ways we would try and overcome this by trying to keep your cholesterol down within your diet.
Yeah.
So stop eating, or by eating less fats and reducing the number of saturated fats in your diet. Will help with that. And finally, the government guidelines. Again, as I've already said, you are within the normal. If it was to get any higher than 120, you go into elevated, and so on until you get to the crisis zone, which is over 180 for systolic, and over 120 for your diastolic, but we're nowhere near that at the minute, so that's nothing to worry about. Your questionnaire results, very, very good, just pretty average. You know, you don't drink, you don't smoke, no drugs. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you said, your calorie and water intake was just on the averages, so about 2,500 calories and around about 2 to 3 litres a day of water, which is obviously brilliant, and we'll try and keep that up. Again, like we said about the balanced diet, maybe try and improve that a little bit. Other than that, I think you're alright. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.